made it, guys. Welcome back, and if you have been following this series, we appreciate you guys for sticking around until the bitter end. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the fourth and the last part of our iPhone XS series. If you haven't seen the other three parts, I'll link a playlist right here, as well as in the description below. So, day 15 with the iPhone XS Max. It's been a wild ride with this iPhone, but is it the end of the line? Let's find out right after this. Roll it. So over the past 15 days, a lot has happened in the Apple realm. It isn't iPhone month without a couple of scandal gates and of course a bug fix update within a couple of weeks of the phone's release. This year is no different. We had the pleasure of hearing about ChargeGate and BeautyGate in relation to this iPhone, but one of those issues has already been fixed in a recent update. In typical Apple-esque fashion, we've received our first update of iOS 12, which brings us to version 12.1. I also got an update on my watch as well. Apple is usually great with bug fixing updates upon the device's release, which I have no complaints about. So what have I discovered about this device over the past 7 days since we last met? Well, for starters, I found a bug in the device which I am hoping isn't due to the radio hardware and can be fixed with a software update. But when I call a contact and immediately hang up, the network just completely hangs. And it doesn't just end there. The call actually goes through, but the caller will have no idea. I'm wondering if this is just a problem with the network I'm on. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you can replicate this issue. Obviously, I don't want to start a whole new gate scandal, but I mean, it would be nice for Apple to know about this so we can get it fixed in a future update. Something that has annoyed me recently with this phone, and I'm pretty sure it's just with the XS Max due to its size, but I find myself accidentally screenshotting all the time. I've come across this on more than one occasion, and it happens more often when I'm pulling my phone out of my pocket. I tend to hit the power and the volume button simultaneously, which triggers the screenshot. So for those of you who get an iPhone XS Max and notice a bunch of pictures of your lock screen in your gallery, that is probably why. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's finally time. I want to focus a little bit on Siri in the latest iteration of iOS. Siri is miles ahead of where it used to be. Now, Google Assistant still has a bit of an edge when it comes to this department, but I feel the gap is slowly closing. Siri is still completely dumbfounded when it comes to asking about certain people or celebrities, especially when they have hard to pronounce names. Whereas Google Assistant is quite consistent. I asked about a certain hockey player whose name is a bit hard to pronounce, and Google Assistant got it right consistently. Siri was hit and miss. Speaking of consistency though, the Hey Siri hot word is a lot more reliable than Hey Google. Would you look at that?
I found something on the web about hot words is a lot more reliable.
I also don't have to unlock my device every time I want to ask Siri something. Voice match on the Pixel doesn't work that well, and in order to get any info from it, I have to unlock the device every single time. It gets kind of annoying. When asking Siri, it doesn't really unlock your device unless you are asking for personal information, like for example, your health data, but it gives you the appropriate information when you need it while keeping your device secure. So Siri shortcuts, that is super useful. Android users would make fun of iOS for not giving you the ability to customize certain things. Well, Apple users, you finally have the upper hand. Well, kinda. You can customize the shortcuts to bring up all sorts of data, and this makes Siri so much more powerful. I want to do this right within the OS without having to install other apps such as IFTTT. So next time you Apple guys get made fun of from Android users, just keep that in mind and maybe mention that. You're welcome. Another strong suit when it comes to Apple's ecosystem is Apple Pay. Mobile payments across Android and iOS are awesome. They just work. I've had no issues with either OS. Where Apple shines is not with mobile payments itself, but with the wallet app in which it lives. Apple Wallet is so much better than Google Pay. Well, what makes it better, you ask? The proper implementation of gift cards, loyalty cards, boarding passes, and now even school IDs. I have a couple loyalty cards in Google Pay, but it's nothing more than a glorified barcode display method. The cards in Apple Wallet are actually dynamic. So for example, I have a Tim Hortons gift card for a coffee and a Cineplex loyalty points card for movies. Both these cards have live updates as I deplete or reload my balance. Boarding passes also display gate info and other useful information. So that's something that I noticed when transitioning over from my Pixel to the iPhone. To some of you, that may not even be an issue, but I want to give you a sense of what you can expect if you choose to move over from an Android phone. All right, final thoughts on this camera. The camera does have better optics than its predecessors, that's for sure. And it's actually pretty close to the Pixel 2 XL. I find the photo in general is more natural in terms of lighting, as well as the colors are more true to life. I'm getting used to the front-facing camera. It's not terrible as I first thought, but it still takes me a couple of shots to get it perfect. Something I didn't really have to do before. I toggled through the various lighting options, and some are completely useless if you want to take these types of pictures on the fly. This includes the stage light and the stage light mono features. I feel like you have to be in the perfect environment to get it just right. And even then, it's a gimmicky feature at best. I've done some more testing on the slow motion video on the rear camera, and I'm nothing but impressed with the quality as well as the ability to edit after the fact. I was able to throw it into iMovie and further trim or add text to my video without any extra apps. Shooting video on the back gives you the ability to record in 1080p or 4K, and in both resolutions you can record at 60 frames per second. That's better than a lot of DSLR cameras. Most people won't even need to record at such a high frame rate. Slow motion can be recorded in 1080p at both 120 and 240 frames per second. My test samples turned out great, and the front-facing camera, even though I wasn't initially pleased with the quality of some photos, the video was pleasantly surprising. Here's a sample of both the front and the back. Just finished doing some B-rolls. Gonna go back inside, do some more B-rolls, and hopefully do some edits today. This is the front-facing camera of the iPhone XS Max. You guys can get an idea of what the sound is like as well as the video quality. Alright guys, this is the back camera, just showing you guys what it looks like. It's a sunny day. See how the sound is and the video quality as well too. I'm also going to be walking a little bit so you can kind of see what the OIS is like, the optical image stabilization. So, the big question that people want to know is it for you? I can't really answer that, but that is the whole reason we created this whole 4-part series. I wanted to take you along as we use the iPhone as a daily driver to give you an idea of what to expect, especially if you're moving from an Android phone. If you currently have an older iPhone and you're looking to upgrade, the significant differences won't be there. That is, unless you're looking to bump up your camera game. The rear shooter here is miles ahead of any previous iPhone, but that's partially due to the Smart HDR. I don't really see any reason why Apple couldn't have added that feature to the iPhone X. Just kidding, I can. They wanted to force you to upgrade. But if you're satisfied with your existing camera, don't upgrade. iOS 12 comes to a lot of older devices, dating back all the way to the iPhone 5S. And a lot of what I talked about in the past couple of weeks is available in that new update. If you're coming from Android, it may be a huge change for you. And if you were already thinking of switching over, now is probably the time. Things are slowly opening up. Siri is getting better and more useful. Notifications have taken a huge leap forward, and a lot of Google apps that you are used to on Android are available on iOS. And some of them are actually better on iOS. Funny how that works. Apple has been playing catch up for years. There's really no denying that. But I find that when they release a feature that has been on Android for much longer, they tend to do it a bit better. And if you're okay with waiting for those features to eventually come to iOS, then go for it. At the end of the day, I can say that this is probably the first iPhone I wouldn't mind using for a while. Am I going to switch? I still love my Pixel 2, and I want to see what the Pixel 3 has in store, but it's growing on me. I don't want to talk price because ultimately it's your money. You decide how you want to spend it. These are expensive devices, no doubt, but if you can snag them on a subsidized plan or even secondhand eventually, then it's a pretty good deal. There are a ton of great Android alternatives out there, but if what I mentioned in these past 4 episodes is something that you want and Android can't deliver that same experience, then you can determine if this is a device that is of value to you. Let us know in the comment section down below if you bought this device, if you plan on buying it, or what you value in a phone. We would love to hear from you guys. Well guys, that is it for the iPhone XS Max 4-part series. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you guys haven't seen the other 3 parts, I'll link that right over here as well as in the description below. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Jared the Tech Avenger. Don't forget, when it comes to tech, the Tech Avengers are there. We got your back.